Yang pembentang ketiga ialah kertas bertajuk Marine SDI Supporting MyGDI ataupun Malaysian Geospatial Data Infrastructure yang akan dibentangkan oleh Komander Kamarudin bin Yusof daripada PHN. Disilakan. Sementara itu saya akan bacakan biodata beliau yang disediakan dalam bahasa Inggeris di sini. Komander Kamarudin, Royal Malaysia Navy, is currently the head of METOC section in the National Hydrography Science Center. Commander Kamarudin also joined the Royal Malaysian Navy on 28th of June 1996. He was then polished and groomed to be a professional naval officer in officer faculty, KD Pelanduk, for 2 years and later commissioned as acting Staff Lieutenant on 1998. He joined the hydrographic world in his 3rd year of service, and he has served on board both RMN or Royal Malaysian Navy survey ships, namely KD Perantau and KD Mutiara. And during his tenure at National Hydrographic Center, Commander Kamarudin has served various staff officers' appointment in different departments, such as computer system department, tide analysis, and etc. etc. Is that the floor is yours?
Many thanks, Chairman. The floor is mine. Thanks for a kind introduction. First of all, I would like to thank all of you because you stay with me. I'm sure you are waiting for me to know about the Marine SDI. Marine SDI is supporting MyGDI. So my presentation is very straightforward. If you know about SDI and you just add in Marine, I believe you know what is the Marine SDI and supporting MyGDI. And I would like to take opportunity to thank MyGDI for giving me opportunity, especially NSC. After NGIS 8, now there is first time I attended NGIS. Now today, become the presenter. There is my presentation outline. Of course, I would like to share the overview of my National Hydrographic Center and also the hydrography. If you see me, why I'm very white, because National Hydrographic Center is an entity under the Royal Malaysian Navy, which is under Malaysia Armed Forces and under Ministry of Defense. And the second outline about the marine spatial data infrastructure, why we need the marine element in order to support MyGDI, I mean the national program. And the third outline about the 4 pillars of the Marine SDI, and last is a conclusion. Perhaps by end of my presentation, we get the clear picture about the development of Marine SDI and way forward in order to support MyGDI. I strongly believe that all of you didn't know about the hydrography, so I would like to play 2-minute video about the hydrography.
When we say hydrography, most people think of nautical charts and publications. It's true, hydrographic services are responsible for the official nautical documents that are essential to safe navigation. But hydrography is also crucial for many other activities: resource exploitation, environmental protection and management, maritime boundary delimitation, national marine spatial data infrastructures, recreational boating, maritime defence and security, tsunami flood and inundation modelling, coastal zone management, tourism, marine science. In a world without hydrography, accidents at sea would be more frequent, resulting in the loss of more lives and greater environmental pollution. Rescue operations would also be more difficult. In a world without hydrography, there would be no safe ports, no safe routes, no integrated coastal management. In a world without hydrography, with frequent accidents at sea and no safe ports, shipping would decrease and so would international trade. Sustainable development would be compromised. In a world without hydrography, marine boundaries would not be accurately delimited, resulting in more litigation and conflict. In a world without hydrography, there would be no offshore installations, no underwater cables, no pipelines, no oil rigs, no fish farms, no wind farms. A world without hydrography would be a far worse place.
There is some video from the definition on hydrography and the role of the National Hydrography Center in order to support the marine activity. There is a definition from our publication. Initially, hydrography is the primary purpose of the safety of navigation and in support of other marine activities, including economic development, security and defense, scientific research, and environmental protection. What I want to share with you within 20 minutes is hydrography much more than nautical chart. We want to concentrate about rather than safety navigation, we also produce, development on the marine spatial data infrastructure. There is our survey asset, the platform. As you know, bathymetry is a fundamental bedrock for the marine information. With the bathymetry, you can do the coastal engineering, you can do the oil and gas exploration. There is what I want to stress here, there is a bathymetry is very important. It's not only to produce nautical chart, and also can be used for other applications. So currently we have 2 survey ships, 2 hydrographic boat and 1 leasing ship. You see, there is a measurement, how we measure the depth using the sound velocity. We should know the sound velocity. Along the sound velocity, we have to do the casting. The oceanographic casting and to get the parameter. In order to define the sound velocity, we need the temperature, conductivity, and also the pressure, the depth. There is our production nautical chart, special purpose map, specifically designed to meet the requirement of marine navigation, showing most of the things, depth, nature of seabed, elevation and configuration characteristic of the coast, danger and aids to navigation. Other than that, we also produce ENC, which is an electronic nautical chart, namely MyENC, because My is code name for Malaysia. We started to produce ENC since 2004. MyENC is a vector format that complies with the ISO product certification. That is part of the chart data transfer standard. We call it the F57. Any other vector chart data is unofficial and therefore does not meet the SOLAS. SOLAS is the stand for the International Safety of Life at Sea chart coverage requirement. Currently, we produce about 100 fossils, which cover all Malaysia water, consists of band 1 until band 6. Other than that, we also produce high-density ENC, especially in the port, the busiest port, for instance, in North Port and South Port in Klang. NSC also continuously produce annual Malaysia Tech Table, chart catalog. These publications are either sold through our local agent or distributed to local mariners. And there is a familiar image. I believe all of you agree that 70% of the Earth is covered by the water. There is a shipping density analysis. Actually, Malaysia is a strategic location, as I mentioned by our colleague from the Maritime Enforcement Agency, about 18,000 ships transiting in our area, especially on the Malacca Strait. and South China Sea. There is an area of our responsibility to do the charting, which is a maritime area, approximately two times the size of the land area. That's why we have, Malaysia is a maritime nation, as per our fourth Prime Minister said. The making of Malaysia as a maritime nation is appropriate and relevant as it highlights Malaysia's aspiration to be a maritime nation in the true sense. Now I would like to bring up view about how complex on the marine governance. If you can see here, different agency and different ministry related on the marine governance. For instance, under Prime Minister's Department, we have a National Security Council, MEA, and also Minister of Defense, Royal Malaysian Navy, and National Hydrographic Center also relate to the marine governance. So from that scenario, I would like to do the situational analysis, not spatial analysis yet. Marine is complex, as I mentioned earlier, that different jurisdiction under various agencies. That's why we need a solution, which is a similar solution, is a marine SDI in order to provide the marine data for the other use or other application. Now we move the second outline, my presentation about the marine spatial data infrastructure. As you know, in the cookbook, SDI is the relevant base collection of technology, policy, international arrangement that facilitate the ability to access the spatial data. So what I would like to stress here about the marine SDI is the component of the national SDI, which is Malaysia, we call it the MyGDI, as you know, that focus on the marine input in terms of governance, standard, ICT, and also the content. The concept of marine SDI is now gaining wider appreciation in terms of the way a variety of data type might be combined for efficient analysis by a wide range of disciplines, such as marine spatial planning, environmental management, and emergency response. This requires data to be held in generic way, rather than for a particular product for limited user and crew and specific purpose. This is an example in AC. Before this, we focus on the product-oriented, like I mentioned earlier, on the like a nautical chart and electronic nautical chart. Actually, MSDI, marine SDI, is not a collection of hydrographic products, but an infrastructure that promotes interoperability of data at all levels. Under the ISO and the International Hydrographic Organization, we have a working group, especially working group for the marine SDI, to look into on the requirement for MSDI to other ISO member states. The importance of marine SDI is stated in our publication, which is Manual on the Hydrography, C30. It specified that the hydrographic service, which is the NSC, National Hydrographic Center, is an important part of the national spatial data infrastructure. Now I would like to move the scope of my presentation about 4 pillars of the marine SDI, which is policy and governance, technical standard, ICT, and also geographic content. For the policy and governance, a policy must be defined clearly in order to the information that is interoperable, and functional MSDI require willingness and practical cooperation between the various organizations that create, share, and use information that implement the overall policy that should be able to clearly define government structure. For the standard, international standard for GIS as it has been developed. For the ISO, we're using the S100, which is rely on the ISO 1900 series. That standard also, in ISO, we working closely with the OGC, especially in the area of data content, modeling, and data transport. There is a list of National Hydrographic Center involvement in the maritime activity. I would love to introduce every committee in detail, but time does not allow. I would like to share about the National Hydrographic Committee. There is the higher committee in PHN to unify the hydrographic community in Malaysia under a guiding body. It serves the purpose of monitoring and coordinating activity related to the hydrography, and of course, one of important agenda is about data sharing. Under the National Hydrographic Committee, we have three committees: Hydrographic Surveyor, Port Management and Information Working Committee, and Underwater Object Information Working Committee. I'm sure all of you are very clear about MyGDI governance. Currently, we have on the left side, on the federal, we have Standard Data Committee Standard, Framework, Clean Heart. The new one is a Marine GDI, Marine Technical Committee, which is led by National Hydrographic Center. Actually, because before this, we have the National Hydrographic Committee under this Underwater Object Information Working Committee. Now we just harmonize with the new rebranding with the committee, MyGDI Marine Committee, which is answerable to MyGDI National Coordinating Committee and also National Hydrographic Committee. There is a list of agencies under the MyGDI Marine Technical Committee. There is some photo. In terms of international level, as I mentioned earlier, Malaysia, the National Hydrographic Committee, member of the Marine Spatial Data Infrastructure Working Group under the International Hydrographic Organization. There is in terms of capacity building, as you know, human resource is important element to success hydrography and also the marine SDI. We have many courses organized by ISO under the ISO capacity building. Alhamdulillah, this year we managed to collaborate with the UTM to have the Marine Geospatial program, which is the syllabus on the marine SDI we embedded to this program. About the standard, as you know, the standard should be treated as an enabler, and also we use the MS 1759 and also the ISO standard. There is a Universal Hydrographic Data Model Standard, wider Geospatial standard. As I mentioned, based on 1900 series set of Geospatial standard. The important thing is joint mainstream GIS and new component not developed in isolation. As 100, we support on the imagery and graded data, high density, 3D, time varying data at YZ and time, and also the marine spatial data infrastructure. That is how the S100 developed from the ISO 19100 series. From that, we produce the product and service specification. That is the content on the S100 standard. There is the overview, the content of how S100 support the other product and service product specification. And also OGC is important for the data dissemination through OGC web service. There is existing the ICT infrastructure in PHN. Currently we have two databases for the bathymetry, purposely to populate bathymetry data in imagery and graded, and also the hydrographic production database, purposely for the vector data. Other than that, we have a GI service, which comply with the OGC compliance. There is another example. There is the total hydrographic workflow, as I mentioned earlier. Currently, we focus on the product-oriented. We produce per chart for the ship and also additional multi-layer for the Navy application. In future, in progress, we embark the every solution to have a portal so that we can collaborate the portal with other agencies, or we can provide the webmail service comply with OGC. As you know, as hydrographic data is a role in marine SDI, is the fundamental bedrock. There is currently identified the key data set for inclusion of marine SDI. There is a lot of categories.
Commander, you have 2 minutes to conclude your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Now, from the product-oriented, in future we want to more on the service-oriented. From the vector data, we can do for the fishery application, scientific research, search and rescue, and also the marine spatial planning. There is example the service through MyGDI data service on the bathymetry. There is a key element of the good data management, capture one and use many times. Many data as close to source as possible. Before we ending the presentation, there is an important marine SDI in order to support MyGDI for the other application, for instance, the marine cadastral, emergency response, and so on. For the conclusion, MSDI is about the best practice. It's something you can deliver quickly, and also we need support from the collaboration from the stakeholder to work together. And the biggest challenge is the people and the organization, the culture. There are many benefits to be realized from the MSDI, as I mentioned earlier. And National Hydrographic Center is an important part of the marine SDI in order to support MyGDI. The ISO standards are aligned with the ISO and OGC standard. Now our SCT is ready, and we have a strong governance under the MyMarine GDI Technical Committee. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.